And so my first question was why, and then my second question became how. Then the third question was like, well, what do we do to, prevent this from continuing?
Hello and welcome to Tea Talks. My name is Sid and I am the creator of Roots Holistic, a lifestyle brand promoting mindful living. And Tea Talks is an intentional space for conversation around mindful living, healing, and liberation. I am excited to introduce to you all Mikaela Smith today. Mikaela, also known as Queen Alchemist, is a yoga instructor and doula. Her focus is on providing tools to people whose ancestors and history were displaced by slavery and colonialism through mindfulness and cultural social awareness. Welcome, Mikaela.
Thank you, Sid. I'm excited to be on your Tea Talk.
I'm so excited to have you here and to be in conversation with you for this time. So checking in with you, what are like one or two words to describe like how you're feeling right now or how you've been feeling like this week, where you've been at?
So one or two words for right now. I would say grateful and open.
I love that you said grateful. Gratitude has definitely been a practice during this time that I've also been like really trying to ground into, because it's just like so easy to find like the things that are wrong right now. And so it's like, all right, but where are the things like of joy? Like where are the moments that to be just like grateful for? So I appreciate you sharing that. I'm curious. I wanted to ask you, what does it mean to you to be a doula?
Yes. So I guess I'll have to start like when I first found out about what a doula was. I was doing research, like I was just researching one day, um, and read an article about like just maternity death rates and infant mortality, and of course saw that of course Black women was at the top of that list. And so my first question was why, and then my second question became how. Then the third question was like, well, what do we do to, prevent this from continuing? That became like my, I guess, burning fire. Once I realized that I wanted to be in birth work, was that, I want to help people that look like me, like in every way possible.
So how do you feel your values and your beliefs show up in this work?
Yeah, so my values and beliefs really stem with like um, being as natural as possible. So I'm not the type of doula that like pushes home birth on clients, but I do like to inform them that that's an option that they can take or a route that they can take as opposed to going to, this hospital to birth clients, just so they know that they don't have to be heavily medicated and be in this space where, they're being yelled at to push, 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 and like, and then, all of these chemicals and medicines are being shoved in their face so that they are no longer even coherent in the birth. Like that's the biggest thing for me. And listening to a lot of women's stories, like even my mother and like women who I've been close to were like, wow, I never even really, like they didn't know anything about doulas. To be honest, they were like, I wish this was around when, or I knew about this option when I gave birth, because it would have made a difference. I think a lot of babies are being born in fear right now, like just the mother being in distress and being afraid. You know, our medical industry looks at birth as like this this painful, scary thing. And it's presented like that in a lot of media. And, it's not like that. It's supposed to be sacred, it's supposed to be joyful and happy. It shouldn't be scary, and you shouldn't be, wondering what's going to happen to me, or am I going to survive through this.
Yeah, so it sounds like a lot of the work is advocating and empowering the mother when
Yeah.
in these systems that are not really even seeing the mother as a human. Like,
Right.
especially our healthcare system that is kind of designed as a business. And so it's just like, how do we produce and how do we like keep things moving as quickly as possible? And it's just like, is
Exactly.
birth, does birth fit into that model?
Yeah. Like, a lot of women don't realize that they can refuse, the epidural or the Pitocin, to speed up their labor or ease pain. And then they don't know about the different alternatives to ease their pain, like water birth and, belly up. Women actually belly dance. There are cultures and tribes where women belly dance through their contractions, through the different ways of contraction. And I think that's like amazing. And I want to expose that more to women in our community.
Yeah. And I wonder if you have thoughts about this, but I've always wondered because of the generational trauma of Black people and especially the Black woman and how she was oftentimes didn't have control over her body or whether she like even wanted to give birth to have children and then having children stripped away. And I wonder like does that play into the mortality rates and just like the different issues that we see with Black women in birthing now?
Definitely. Yes, I would say yes, absolutely. And it's to a point now where, like, you know, we think that it is normal to give birth in this place that doesn't really care about what you want. They're not listening to what you want. They don't care, pretty much. You're not centered in your birth. It's about, okay, get the baby out as quick as possible. And so I think that we sort of, it's like, how do I explain it? um, it's just like when you do something for so long and it becomes habit and you're used to it. And so you don't know any other way, really, or you don't think that you have any other alternative, but like you do. So I feel like because our bodies were taken over by someone else for so long, and that generational trauma, like we don't realize that we have the power to put an end to it, pretty much.
I have two questions for you. One is you just made a correction between saying women and birthing people. Why did you
Yeah.
do that?
I did that because I actually it's recently that I just started trying to like correct myself each time that I say that, um, because there are people who can birth other than women, because you have people in the trans community and LGBTQIA community in general who also go the route of birthing, and you know I don't want to exclude them.
So, birthing people is a more inclusive way of
Yeah,
communicating about.
birthing people. Yeah, birthing people or birthing individuals.
Yeah. All right. I have one more question for you, Mikaela. What are your visions, or maybe one vision for a better future?
My vision for a better future: people who look like me, detaching more from the illusions, that this country sort of feeds us. So that's pretty much what a better future would look like for me, like us, not being so dependent, you know, buy some land and just be self-sustainable. And I would love to see more people doing that. And then, of course, more people that look like us doing that, because it was something that that we did once and we were successful at it. So I feel like it's something that we need to get back to and build on. Yeah. So I would love to see a lot of Black people buying land and just being self-sustainable.
Thank you so much, Mikaela, for sharing your wisdom with us today.
Thank you. I enjoyed this.
I will love to circle back with you as we continue through all these changes. And thank you all for taking some time out to listen to Tea Talks. Just a reminder that a new episode will come out every Friday. And until next time, be well.